Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. All right, what's up, Big Brain MMA? UFC Edmonton. I only just found out Edmonton is in Canada, but there you go. Find out something new every day. Brought my sharp friend, semi-sharp friend, Dogfather. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Hello. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Someone actually asked about you, so I was like, all right, I will listen to the people. I'm a man of the people. If one out of my 800 subscribers wants to see Dogfather and everyone else thinks it's shit, then I'll do it. I'll bring him on for that one fan. So hopefully he's watching. Otherwise, I'll never bring you back on again. But yeah, decent. I take that back. I was going to say decent card. That would have been a mistake. Yeah. Far cry from the pay-per-view. But let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. If you want my recap, I did an early tease. And let's get into it, shall we? See if we can make some money from this card. So Jack Shaw versus Youssef Zalal. Interesting fight. I think people already know I have 3 units on Zalal. I mentioned that on the early tease, no tape. And upon taping it, I'm like, there's a bit of recency bias here. Recency bias. And I will say that Zalal has improved. And I think that's evident. Now I see some people saying things like, oh, he only beat a washed Billy Q and, this and that. But he was an underdog to Billy Q before that. And, they're using the injury. But still, the fact is he's the first person to ever submit Billy Q. So you can't say anything about that. And, he beat Aaron's, who, has been submitted before. But, man, Aaron's, he did it much better than William Gomez. Let's just say that, right? So he's definitely improved. He almost knocked out, Blackshear in his last fight before getting cut by the UFC. So he's got some power now. He's kind of sitting on his punches. He's ripping the body. He seems to be a lot more lethal with his jiu-jitsu. His wrestling, I'm not too sure. We saw him take, 2 guys down that are kind of easy to take down. But, yeah, Jack Shaw, he was fun to bet on when he came into the UFC, when they were giving him squash matches. I was on a lot of those. And now it's kind of like he's moved up and you kind of see a lot of his limitations is quite a bit like a lot of the Cage Warriors guys. They're a bit soy, not much physicality. But I think on the feet, they have similar matchups, similar styles. Shaw's like herky-jerky head kicks and stuff. Shaw will grapple. And if he grapples, man, like Zalal has lost before by being grappled many times. He got out-grappled by Choi, of all people, the kickboxer. So, how much value are we getting? Look, I know if I leave my 3 units and just think he should be right, it's going to lose via split decision because that's how 2024 has been going for me. And so I've actually gone deep on this, but I don't know. As of this moment, I still have the 3 units on Zalal. I haven't really decided what I want to do. I'm kind of tempted on Jack Shaw, to be honest. But it's like, what's his path? Obviously wrestling, but, it's a split decision. That's his path. And, the way the MMA is these days, it's definitely live. What do you think?
I bet Shaw at plus 270 when it jumped out today. I mean, I kind of agree with your opinions. Like, it's a big recency bias spot. I mean, skill for skill. I mean, I don't think either one guy, like, really outshines the other. Zalal is definitely more physical and definitely has a little bit better footwork on the feet. Like, he's pretty slick. He's got the Factory X style, but that doesn't really provide him much margins in a striking fight. And his takedown defense isn't good. So from what I expect to be a pretty competitive fight, minus over 300 for Zalal seemed absolutely insane after I ended up taping it. I really didn't have much interest in the fight when Zalal was like minus 200 because I was like, oh, that's probably fine. Like, I didn't really look into it until it blew out. It's like 250 and it was trending towards 300. And I'm like, wow, I don't really get this line at all. So, yeah, I think Zalal probably like minus 175, like around 65%, maybe a little bit even shorter than that is fine. But, pushing up past 75% is crazy to me. Like, I think depending on where the line ends up, I'll probably add to the play, but I just have a unit now at 270, and I feel like that's if it loses, I could care less. Shore definitely has wrestling upside. I know the physicality is like the biggest thing that's kind of adding to the line, but dude, Burrito's like a whole different animal than Zalal, and he's gonna fill into this weight class over time. Like, it takes, a year to, a year and a half, sometimes 2 years for guys to like fill into their body at this age. He could slowly kind of improve and put on some size and some muscle mass despite him being kind of flabby. But Yeah, I think he's the clear side here, and he's definitely warranted for a bet.
There you go. There you go. I will say some similarities to the Blackshear fight. You know, both good back takers. Blackshear took his back multiple times. You know, had some deep rear naked chokes. Yeah, some similarities. Both are technical on the feet. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's go over some comments because I didn't do it at the start, and then we'll move on. Aussie Fight Fan, thanks for listening. Jack Fagan. Remdog, shout out. Jono, finally watching live. Let's go. I know it's always like 1 p.m. in Australia, so it's a bit hard if you have a job. Dravy, I think this is the first time you're listening. Thanks for listening, mate. Parky, what's up? What's up, Six Sound? Jono, is this short notice? I don't think so.
It was not like I don't think it was like a full camp. Like I think it was like 8 weeks notice maybe. So I feel like they both had a reasonable time to prepare for the fight.
I think that's enough. 8 weeks is more than enough. Zalal cuts less than 20 pounds. He said himself, that's well below average. I don't think, I think at a lower weight class, that's fine. Plus, I think he's definitely filled out a little bit. So
yeah, he's not small.
No. Alrighty. So Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. I think you have another play here, so maybe you can take it away.
Yeah, I bet Horth at -200, and I know it's not like the prettiest play. It's -200, WMA, yada yada. But you know, I feel like Petrovic's grappling upside is being a little bit overrated here. She doesn't really have the wrestling, in my opinion, to get it down to the mat. And if she does, Horth's shown like a pretty decent ability to dig an underhook and get back up. The really only concern is her giving up her back, which I've seen her do, but she does a good job at defending and getting out of the positions. And, you know, she's pretty physical too. So she's kind of going to be hard to hold down for Petrovic. And, you know, she's urgent to get up to the feet. I really hope Horth doesn't choose to offensively wrestle, largely because her takedowns are pretty awful. She just goes to that body lock and you can see her just kind of throw, you know, fighters on top of herself. It happened like 2 or 3 times in the Hardy fight where she just rushes and makes mistakes. But she does a good job at like getting back to her feet. You can tell she's urgent to do it as well, where Petrovic just isn't. You know, she doesn't have much of a get-up game. When she gets stuck on bottom, she rolls for heel hooks. And I just don't really see much of a path for her outside of like maybe like Horth just looking like AIDS and it just being like a really tepid kickboxing fight. But Horth has a big physicality advantage. She has all the clear favorite upside here. And she's got better cardio and pace down the stretch. I mean, Petrovic kind of slows down in round 3. And even in the Liang fight, like she hates physicality. Carolina's not physical at all. Tekkena's an awful grappler. Most of the girls she's fought on the regional scene are bad grapplers in general. So I feel like her grappling's being massively overrated by, you know, the market in general. And I think Horth should be a much bigger favorite here. It's a big step down from Veronica Hardy. You're muted.
I said I don't know about all of that, but I do get where you're coming from. I know another person that's played it, and I went semi-deep trying to do the same thing, and I was like, nah, I'm just putting myself through too much torture, going this in depth on this fight, and yeah, I see it like as a 29-28 for Jamey-Lyn Horth, and with slightly more physicality. But I hate how easily she can be taken down. Like essentially, what it boils down to for me is if you're winning a close 29-28 to Hayley Cowan, I just can't play you at -200. Or, you know, especially when the other girl will try and grapple. You know, Ivana's not the greatest, but she's got a body lock. I see this girl staying in the clinch against the cage for a long, long time. And yeah, I'm just going to lie bet it. Just it's going to be a shit show fight, back and forth. It's probably going to be ebbs and flows and swings, momentum swings. And I just try to take advantage. And yeah, I'll also say Ivana also comes on late. I know her grappling doesn't look the best. Cardio, I should say, later on. But you know, a lot of her finishes, a lot of her regional fights, she would have lost if there were 3-rounders, but she comes on in rounds 4 and 5 and can't really get any wrestling off until 2 and 3. So
yeah, she can't get any wrestling off until 4 and 5 because her opponent slows down and she just pushes through.
Well, that's why I just essentially what I'm trying to say. But yeah, she comes on late. But I'm just not interested. Not interested in this in any point at all, any aspect. Parky feels like he will be a sweat. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it feels like people are really keen to fade Ivana, but with the judges that we've seen, it's not for me. But I edge a 29-28. All right, I think we're on the same side on this one. Chad, Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. We have some 37-year-old bantamweight lads going up against each other. Yeah, Cody Gibson, I have like 3 units at like $1.72, which is whatever that is. I think 60%. That has to be a bit higher than that. I mean, I think this is a big step down for Gibson. Gibson, they gave him Brad Katona and Miles Johns, and people were playing him as an underdog against Miles Johns, and that was an awful matchup. Awful, like two proven winners in their prime, and now he's getting a 37-year-old Chad who, on his way out, he can essentially only beat the bottom of the barrel / not even UFC level type guys. Like, what's his best win? It's either Jesse Strader or Gregorio. And I watched that Jesse Strader fight again, and it was 1-1 going into the third, but Jesse was winning round 3 with a minute to go, and then he got cracked and knocked out. He's a bit hittable. He's a bit porous with his defense. Split decision over Gafarov, whatever. And yeah, just got rinsed by Anheliger of all people. Rinsed by Jose Johnson. Again, losing to Gregorio for 7.5 minutes of that fight until Gregorio fell apart. So there's that risk with Cody Gibson. He's slows down, becomes a bit open and hittable. And, Chad's best round is round 3. Cody's worst is round 3. But I wouldn't say it's like that black and white. He was winning round 3 against Brad Katona until he had his orbital broken, right? And probably his best round against Miles Johns. He was doing all right, and then he kind of really died against Miles Johns. And he lost round 2 against Francisco Rivera, and then he finished him in round 3. So, Ray Borg is just a complete different beast. Chad just doesn't push that kind of pace. It feels like a levels fight. It feels like Cody can really run through him, and if he doesn't, just kind of edge rounds 2 and 3 and maybe win a 29-28. Worst case, maybe get dropped, maybe get his leg chewed off a little bit, but try not to overthink this one and just, see if I'll reduce my 3 units. But what about you?
Yeah, I have minus 135. Actually, probably a little bit better than that. I think the line is trending towards accurate. It's like minus 190, which is like 65%, which is right around where I capped Cody in this fight. Not much to say, kind of, going towards your sentiments. I mean, he has huge favorite upside with rolling a submission in round 1 or 2. Round 3 could be a little bit sweaty, but I still feel like he can like 30-27 or finish here. I think, Chad's kind of drawing to like a couple big moments or keeping it close on the feet and, being competitive with his boxing and calf kicks and movement. Like, he's pretty slick, but I think the line's fine where it's at. We got in early. Feels good to tip that one out, and the market agree with me. So yeah, happy to get like 55, 60 cents of CLV. And yeah, I have about 3 units as well, so I'm letting it ride. I think it's a good spot.
Yeah, it really should be. It will be a nice sweaty spot, kind of like Jose Johnson. We
both played down. Jose. Yeah, we both played Jose as well, and I thought that line was generous too. So
it was much better than the Cody. It was much worse than the Cody Gibson line. So it was like minus 200 almost.
Yeah, he has way worse takedown defense.
Oh, it's horrible takedown. He got taken down like 6 times, and he still was on the path for 30-27. That's
just from sweeping him off bottom.
Plus, he's flaky. He got knocked out by Minor Martinez, and Chad kept landing the overhand right. That was the most I've been sweating in a long time. But luckily, that's probably what this is going to be like, because Cody is just so defensively responsible. But
yeah, sweaty 30-20 on the route to 30-27 with a finish. You're like,
correct. Just leave the room and come back when he cashes.
Just because it's Jose Johnson.
All right. Serhiy Sidey versus Garrett Armfield. I thought I would like that dog here. I know Sidey quite well. I got dropped like 3-4 times against Tavares, who not a bad, actually really good boxer, I should say. So some similarities to Garrett, but Tavares was southpaw. That's a big difference there. And his left hand is money. And knowing all that, I'm like, yeah, Garrett is good. He's improving quite a bit from fight to fight. He's young. High level of competition. Katona and Brady and David Onama can't go wrong. I don't know. I just didn't feel like I really wanted to lock it in after tape. It's narrowed in a little bit. I just feel like if Sidey doesn't get knocked out, he's kind of like an awful matchup for Armfield. He's constant pressure, constant volume, And, I thought Gareth had better cardio than I thought initially. And then upon taping it, I'm like, wow, it's actually worse than I thought. This guy's blowing like 5 minutes in or 4 minutes in. And yeah, it's just, I can't really do it. Like, sure, he's better, but I thought he kind of really, really high rolled his Brad Katona win as well. Like, just super, super slim margins. But yeah, I just can't do it. Just not feeling it. I have to trust the gut. There might be some value. He might get like a round 1 knockout over City. Eventually, City's going to get knocked out with that defense. But yeah, not feeling it. Not really feeling the under. I will say Garrett is so well rounded, man. He's good everywhere. Good jiu-jitsu. Almost armbarred Brady. Really good at like scrambling, getting up. He can probably hit his own takedowns against City. Now that I'm talking about it, probably should be pick him. But yeah, skill for skill, Garrett is probably better. But hardware wise, it's got to be City. What do you think about the fight?
Yeah, I agree. I've been tossing up in my mind of playing City at like -130 when the line's been coming down, but he just has. I mean, the hitability for me at like a favorite line is really tough because Garrett could still swing rounds, landing some big shots on the feet, and his wrestling's not bad. He can hit takedowns possibly, but I feel like City is improving. He's been on a bit of a layoff since his last fight, and he's got really good intangibles. I mean, he's big and long for the division, throws kicks to all levels, throws elbows to all levels, got good hands, decent grappling, good cardio, good pace, good pressure. I mean, it's a really well-rounded fighter, and, I think he should be the favorite. But to that extent, I think the line is probably fine. And as much as I want to bet City because I like his style, he's kind of a madman, I'm just going to pass. The under probably looks good but doesn't hit. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Like, it'll probably be like, oh, the under should have been -150. They dropped each other like 2 or 3 times and Armfield was ready to die and didn't quit, but it still went over type of under. So City maybe late props could be good, but I'm not really interested. I feel like everything's probably priced accurately.
Yeah, I'm not interested in any of that. 6 Hound makes a point. Garrett pre and live bet out. I would just not have anything pre and then look to live bet on City.
It's only like +120. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, +120 and then fucking City wins round 1 and you're like, oh, I'm cooked.
It makes more sense with like Carlos Leal last week plus 220, and then you get like plus 500 on Renat. It's just like the perfect hedge spot,
Yeah,
and,
that's exactly what I did. I got like +600 live and got off everything without having to risk much.
Well, it's like, why the hell would I get off that when I thought it was up 29-28 and
I'm
rinsing in round 3?
I just had weird vibes about it, so I was just like, all right,
Yeah, fair enough. Whenever I'm a pussy, I regret it. Whenever I'm not a pussy, I also regret it. So there you go. It's just life. Alrighty. To the best fight on the card, Alexandr King Kong Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. I kept going back and forth, and I just feel like Pick'em feels completely accurate here. I think Romanov can have some early advantages. Rodrigo starts super slow. He's the most unathletic man at heavyweight, or one of, now that they cut Parker Porter. And yeah, wrestling's not the best. He can be taken down himself. He can be hit. Romanov, actually, that fight against Blagoy Ivanov, when he let his hands go, not bad boxing from Southpaw at all. He kept stumbling Ivanov, pardon me. He actually doesn't have the worst chin. Yeah, he's a bit washed, but he does have good boxing, right? Romanov, he was lighting up Tabura just one fight before that. So he still has good hands. And yeah, Alexandr Romanov was kind of lighting him up. And before that, he would just like spam head kicks and body kicks and then just do a double leg. So maybe his boxing's improved even more. We haven't seen any of it, and we were never going to see any of it against Jailton Almeida, obviously. So some more time off, some more improving in his game. If this gets extended, people saying Rodrigo Nascimento should run through him if this gets extended. I mean, why should he? He didn't run through Latifi. He didn't run through Tanaboza. Like, it's not like he's Alexander Volkov. Like, it's probably just going to look like the Tybura fight. We'll go to a split decision, and Pickham's going to look accurate. So that's my thoughts. And yeah, I can't find anything to play on this fight, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the line is fine. I actually don't mind like Romanov being the favorite, but then I have to bet on Romanov, and I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I know Tybura is obviously, in my opinion, Tybura is like a level above Nascimento, but I mean, I do feel like Romanov could probably hit takedowns, even if this fight's extended, to win rounds. Like, I think his cardio being bad is like massively overblown. Like, he gets tired, but it's not as bad as I think people are making it out to be, or like it seems to be. Like, I don't think he's completely cooked after round one. I mean, it's not like Nascimento's this like dangerous guy that's going to make him flake or anything like that. So I do favor Romanov in the matchup. And yeah, his boxing's not bad. I mean, Nascimento is super hittable. He's been rocked a ton. Like, Romanov could land some big shots on the feet and around to keep it relatively competitive, and then land a takedown like he did in the Ivanov fight, and like win a clear decision here. So I take Romanov's side. I don't think I'm gonna get up to it just because I just can't trust the guy, but I do feel like, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, he's probably shaped like a donut. Yeah, round. He's shaped like a circle. But yeah, I mean, that's the concern, you know. So I'm probably just, like you said, I'm probably just gonna pass. So
Yeah,
5 minutes, 5 minutes of cardio. That's plenty. That's plenty of time. That's plenty of time.
5 minutes. 5 minutes of hell. Right? If you give it to her, then 5 minutes is enough. Steel cage match right there. Any good comments? No, just all Dogfathers embarrassing fans. No, I'm kidding. MMA Hokage, just recycling this once more. I remember that. Armfield is Jewish. Fade him. Well, there we go. That's a sharp breakdown right there. I was not aware. That's probably why my gut was like, don't lock it in. My gut just knew. I didn't know, but my gut knew. So always trust your gut. C Shorts. I need Henry to win. Well, here we are. We're on Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. Tell me why you need Henry to win. And Dogfather will tell us why he needs his square Charles Jourdain bet to win.
Oh, my square Charles Jourdain.
It's Charles Jourdain, dude.
I mean, I bet.
Is it ever sharp to play him?
I actually have never bet Charles Jourdain, unless actually I did bet his submission prop against Ramos, which was incredible scenes. But I haven't really bet on Jourdain much. I faded him in his last fight against Gene Silva at like plus 160, 170. Yeah, I mean, and just you know, I get that Henry. I love, Victor Henry, like, so it feels weird for me to bet against him, but there are just some things like that I think Jourdain could exploit. Like, I kind of expect, Henry to have a volume advantage, but from like with the footwork and the stance switches and the power that Jourdain has, I feel like he can give Henry fits. And I feel like he's going to land the bigger shots on the feet here, especially the more eye-catching strikes on the feet. And I don't really expect Henry to have like a ton of grappling upside because he doesn't really have the physicality of guys that have had, grappling success against Jourdain. So it comes down to Jourdain, to me, being able to land the more significant head strikes. Henry really hasn't faced too many strikers. And, Gravely was landing big hooks on him, like at will whenever he entered. And, I just feel like that Jourdain has some upside here. I feel like, Henry's never been, finished, but I feel like he's getting up there in age. Hasn't really faced a guy with a ton of power that could put him out. I feel like Jourdain's live to KO him here with that straight left down the pipe. And the age, the drop down in weight, I'm baking into some of the potential upside of Jourdain here at Pick'em against a 37-year-old bantamweight. And it really just comes down to that, keeping it really simple. I feel like it's a really competitive fight at the end of the day, but I do feel like the potential for Jourdain to look improved. This is a massive step down in competition from his previous opponents. He has the opportunity here to really get a win and shine. So I think he's fine at like minus 150. I would not play him now. I picked him. He was fine. And I felt like I had a pretty good edge there. So I like the bet, but now it's probably a dog or pass fight. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the matchup. He's way more athletic than Henry too. Like I know that the Barcelos performance is really bullish for him. But Barcelos has looked like shit recently. So I don't know how much I really take from that.
Mm.
And then he looked like shit against the Sun Sao. The Gravely performance was not that impressive. And I mean, look at Jourdain's level of comp. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a big step down for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think can't disagree with anything. I figured that's what it was, age and whatnot, dropping down, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I just can't. I can't rely on Jourdain. I hate relying on his physical attributes, which is all he has, because I've done that against Wood, and he just got shot down. It was the most embarrassing performance. Whenever I bet on this guy, which was like twice or three times, the other one was Woodson. He just epically lets me down. So I get it. Yeah, more athletic, probably more power than Henry, but I will say that a Sun Sao fight is kind of irrelevant. He's a master technician that on the counter, back foot, that just knows how to frustrate you. You can't throw volume against them. Whenever Henry tried, he just got taken down. So it's like then he had to try play the counter striking game with Sun Sao, who's much better at it. In this one, it's like if Charles is just winging and throwing head kicks and all this retarded stuff that he does, Henry should be able to go volume for volume with him and like kind of replicate the Barcelos fight. That was a war. If this is a war, I'm just kind of not interested. But probably the fight that I taped the least. Well, I know Jourdain well. I just have to refresh with Henry. As you know, my car crashed, so I kind of lost freaking 2 hours of taping time. But yeah, I think I'm probably not going to be interested in Charles Jourdain now at this price. A couple of these lines have moved, so
Right, I was going to say, if you played him at Pick'em against Woodson, you should have played him at Pick'em here. But obviously, if you get burnt on somebody enough, you don't want to do it.
Dude, the line was not Pick'em; it was like way worse.
Yeah, he closed like minus 220. I know. I Jourdain or Woodson closed like plus 85.
Yeah, but that was a bad force bet. Early in the year, man, I was forcing so many shithouse bets. I had Johan Linus like a week after that, and then I had, or maybe the same card actually.
Same card.
And then I had Matthew Semmelsberger. It's just, yeah, I remember them all. Very well. All right, Ariane Lipski versus Jasmine Jasudavicus. Interesting. Hard to plant a flag on this one. I think I actually played Lipski as an underdog against Karine Silva, who's been good to me. Backfired. I thought it was very competitive and very winnable for Lipski if she didn't make a couple of stupid mistakes there. I think Karine has the better jiu-jitsu compared to Jasmine Jasudavicus. Obviously, Jasmine, very hittable. That's always been an issue. I mean, she's lost to freaking Cortez because of her striking defense, which is a bit of a red flag. Cortez underrated boxing, though, we'll say. But I think she's a bit scrappy on her feet, too. So she can punch. She hurt Miranda Maverick a few times. She's a dog. So honestly, I would rather just lay the juice, and fade the Ariane Lipski, knockdown or KO. Like, how many KOs does Lipski have? She has a lot of knockdowns, but how many girls has she actually knocked down and finished, right? So at some point, Jasmine's going to get a body lock, and take her down. And I think she's a lot more brutal on the ground than someone like Karine Silva, who kept taking the back. Jasmine's just going to throw ground and pound, man. She's a savage. Even what she did against Fatima Klein, I think if that was any other girl, like not as adept on the ground as Fatima, like she might have like finished them with ground and pound. She went straight to mount. She went to back. She flattened them out. So I'm just thinking some Jasmine KO, maybe, potentially. I haven't even looked at the odds. Maybe you can fill me in.
It's like 850, 900.
Not bad. Yeah, you can fill me to the brim if you want, my friend. Pause. But yeah, that's all I'm thinking. But it's it's hard to lay the money line because Ariane Lipski and how hittable she is. But yeah, I just feel it's going to snowball so badly when Jasmine just gets one takedown and in a 15-minute fight. That's kind of how I'm leaning. But that KO, I might just poke that KO. And I will say, let me just add before, because I'm not going to interrupt you and I'm not going to add anything else after this. I heard someone say she has a good chin, Ariane Lipski. I think it's the opposite of that. She was rocked by Molly McCann, and we obviously saw that Priscilla Cachoeira fight. So I think Jasmine can drop her on the feet too and then put on a beating on the ground. All right, go on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually played Jasmine at 165. And when the line blew out, I took some profit after getting, a bunch of CLV at like minus. Played Ariane at like plus 195 on the other side. So I'm playing Jasmine to win a couple $100. But I ended up retaping it, going deeper, and I just think I do think that if Jasmine can body lock her, you know, it's going to look terrible, but I don't like how she wrestles legs. She doesn't turn the corner well. So I don't really think she's going to be able to wrestle the legs here. I think, she's going to have to body lock, which is kind of what she's best at, but she's really good at body locking girls that aren't as strong as her. And Lipski's pretty physical, especially when she's fresh. So I kind of do expect Jasmine to get lit up on the feet with the straight punches as she rushes in. Lipski throws in combinations. She throws long, she throws straight, and Jasmine her striking defense is awful. So I feel like the line's probably fine now. Even at 165, I thought it was value, but after retaping it, I just don't have a ton of interest because I'm actually not so certain she's going to get takedowns, but I am certain she's going to put a pace on. But I just don't want to lay -2. I don't want to lay chalk in a fight that I'm banking on somebody pacing when I don't know necessarily how well they're going to do with getting takedowns, and they're probably going to get lit up early. So I'm just kind of pass on the fight. The under is probably good. The late KO props, I'd lean late KOs for Jasmine from a prop perspective. They're massive numbers. I'm probably going to play that. And honestly, look for a live entry if I can, more so than playing the money lines.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can't disagree with anything. I think live would be safe. I agree with live. I think a lot of these have good live, and it's a bit of a cop out, but I think Zalal might be better live. I think Horth definitely, drops either 1 or 2, and then she usually wins 3 high clip live. Even Sidey live, Romanov live. I don't know anything about Henry, Jourdain. Yeah, I think that's relatively safe. We haven't really seen Jasmine really get close to finishing anyone in round 1, right? Maybe against
Cachoeira.
Yeah, Pilastri. She kind of her best round was round 1.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
There, yeah.
No, I really like finishing upside, but yeah, I agree with everything there, man. Live would be good to see how. The only issue is if Jasmine gets round 1 takedown, then forget it.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh well, you suck. It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Zahabi, Pedro Munoz. I have no interest in this fight. I know some people on Munoz. I'm not sure if you're one of them. I can't remember. These guys are just. I was going to say stare at each other, but actually Munoz does throw a lot of volume. He switches stances, but he never separates. His volume is kind of become a lot of touchy kicky, and if you're like a lot more explosive, and he's always been a punching bag with bad footwork. So Zahabi, a lot less footwork, just looks to throw that overhand right, looks to spam the leg kick, which probably not going to be here against Munoz. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me why there's a little bit of value on another pick'em fight, but I'm personally not interested. I'm looking for locks.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Zahabi's underrated, but it's kind of funny. It's like mindless volume versus volume neutralizer type of fight. So
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what the fuck to think. Like, so that's what I the more I thought about it, the more I taped, the more I'm just like I have no idea like how this fight could play out. I think Zahabi's pretty damn underrated though. I remember live betting him like mid round 2 of the Basharai fight after Basharai was like aimlessly shooting takedowns for no reason. And I'm like, why is he doing that? He must be uncomfortable. And I entered in live. Obviously, I didn't have anything pre, but I got a nice line live and he won, which was great. So I like the guy, shout out to him for that. But I just end up, feeling like this is a competitive fight. And yeah, I don't have any interest in anything. I just feel like it's like a shit show fight to cap.
Yeah, I do agree. He's quite underrated. You know what could be a spot? The under. Obviously, it's a bit of a trap. It's insane numbers. And Old Mate has 2 overhand right KOs. Obviously, it'd be quite hard to knock out Munoz. And
yeah.
I don't know. Surely Munoz can do something to him.
I would say, yeah, I feel like Munoz KO it's pretty big.
Isn't it wild that Zahabi's ranked?
He's ranked?
Apparently. I thought I saw that he was like 15 or 4.
What the hell?
Can't be. Surely I'm not wrong. I heard someone say like a UFC breakdown or something, 2 ranked guys going at it. I think it's like 14 versus 15. Maybe I'm wrong.
Zahabi ranked. That's crazy.
All right. Yeah, I'm wrong. Well, I'll blame whoever gave me that information. If
Damn it.
Pedro isn't fully washed, it's a good stylistic matchup. Well, I think he is fully washed. If you watch that Gutierrez fight, outside of the getting one moment in round one, every single round was just competitive.
Yeah.
So that's why I missed out on that easy money. Alrighty, Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles. So you have another really sharp bet on Officer Trevor Giles.
No,
so
I cashed out. I cashed out of it.
Ah, damn! You just ruined the whole show.
You're just gonna give me shit for Trevin
Yeah, well,
Giles.
let me just give me a second to rewrite my jokes, my punchlines,
Okay,
and then we'll continue on from there. I'll go over through the comments and then I'll rewrite my jokes.
Go to the ball jokes. I know you probably wrote a couple down.
No, just come on, mate. What do you take me for? I'm not like Big Bird over here, just spamming the same thing every week. Any good comments? Jake, it's Mike Malott season. A lot of people agree with Jasmine KO. Jasmine has better wrestling. Dirty Reg. I'm taking a stand on Jazz by decision. Hey, anything's possible. If she can't get a takedown, it's going to look a bit like the Gardo and whatnot, which was also extremely competitive. Gardo still won that with almost no takedowns. Marcus McGee would do bad things to this man. Marcus McGee, the GOAT. He should be ranked. All right, so Dogfather pussied out. He just has no commitment to any of his action like usual. So I'll take charge here, and I'll say this fight is horrible, and I'm not interested in anything. I thought this would be a big Steve under, especially at plus money. I'm just not feeling it. I just get the sneaky suspicion that Trevin Giles that this will go over 1.5. Like, because Mike Malott is just so patient, so low volume. You know, he counters a lot. I will say I'm sick of the slander. There's so many casuals out there slandering him for him losing 2 minutes against Neil Magny after winning 13 minutes in every round of MMA. You know, out-struck him in round one, hurt his calf kick, took him down, mauled him in round two, just mounted him, took his back like a bunch of times. And round three, more of the same. And then he messed up by going for that guillotine against the cage. If he just let Magny hold him against the cage for 2 minutes, but he messed up, went for the guillotine, ended up in bottom mount, and he just couldn't get out. But man, like they give that Neil Magny test to people that are going to be ranked. If he survives those 2 minutes, the man is ranked, and he just beat Neil Magny, and he just dominated him in round 1 and 2, like Ian Gary, for example. But yeah, here he is because he has bad cardio. Now he's fighting Trevin Giles, and people are fading him. that's the landscape of MMA betting. But yeah, I think he should be better than Giles everywhere. I think he can take him down. He's got a good body lock. And but yeah, I'm not interested because I think Giles can crack him. He's quite fluid. He has a good jab. Mike Malott loves to get busted up and get busted on. So yeah, busted all over. That's what happens when I bring on people like Dog. It's just too much sexual tension, gay energy flying about. What a beautiful man, though. Look at that.
He's a handsome fellow.
Yeah, I'd give him one. I'll give him one or two.
At least
he looks a bit like Brandon Lee, you know, Bruce Lee's son. R.I.P.
He looks like the guy from what's the famous movie of like the serial killer?
The Crow.
That's like super attractive. What is it? Fuck.
Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, he's got like Jeffrey Dahmer vibes.
Here we go. Jono thinks that this is the under that I'm looking for, but I don't see it. Like, basically, it's going to be a guillotine, or he's going to have to club and sub him. But you know, I watched that fight and I watched their grapple match with Trevin Giles, and yeah, Trevin Giles actually took him down, and Malott kind of pulled guard a couple times, and Giles, when you look at him, yeah, he got submitted by what's his name, by Bonfim. But when you look at his career, sure, he has got a couple of guillotines, but he got out of the Duplessis guillotine. He got out of all the Preston Parsons subs easily, which Preston Parsons is a bum. Don't come at me. Yeah, it's just like got out of all the Roman Dolidze stuff on the ground, you know, the inverted leg locks, you know, James Krause back take. He kind of just gets club or sub. You know, Zach Cummings and Misha both cracked him, and then he dived into the guillotine. But I think he's actually grappling is Trevin Giles' best path. You know, it's his best aspect. If he just goes out there and he's getting grappled, I think he will survive on the ground, no issues. And then it's like, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for one big moment from Malott so he can club and sub him. Like, I don't know, man. The way unders have been going, this doesn't even get close to a lock for me to lock it in. But yeah, it just feels like a shit show of a fight. But Can he get knocked out? Yes. I think it's more likely that Malott knocks him out because he almost got knocked out by freaking Preston Parsons in round 1. So, yeah, shit show of a fight. I'm passing all the way around.
I think Giles could definitely hurt him on the feet early because he hurt. He like oddly hurts everybody and then ends up getting finished shortly after. Like he hurt Morales bad. He hurt Duplessis bad. He was rocking Prates, but then just like can't put it together. So I ended up just feeling like I was gonna claim value on like Giles to fumble this fight because that's kind of what he loves to do. So I just didn't want to put up. I just didn't want to be attached to, the in quotation marks. Oh, that was so close, end quotation marks. That was plus EV, end quotation marks,
Yeah, which is what you usually do, but it's at least you're trying to change it, which is fair enough. Giles can't string 15 minutes together. Everyone's like saying, "Oh, what if this gets to round 3?" Yeah, he's not Neil Magny. If you have a look at Trevin Giles round 3s,
they're terrible. They're terrible.
He lost to Kosuke. He lost round 3 to Kosuke. So there you go. All right, this fight. Now, before I unload my jokes, did you cash out of this bet as well? Marc-Andre Barriel versus Dustin Stolfers? He's just completely bailed. He can't handle the heat. So if you can't handle the heat, you just do what Dogfather does and you turn off your camera and you just get out of there. So I guess I'll take this one on. Big Bird, Steve, who would you go on a 2-man with, Dogfather or Chad? What is on a two-man with? Like a date? I don't know. Chad, I guess, because Chad can drink more. I don't know. This card is super sketchy. Sure is. Trevin Giles cannot be trusted. Correct. He also can't be trusted to finish. So when you left, did you hear anything I said?
Yeah, you're making fun of me betting the GOAT, Dustin Stoltzfus.
Yes, I said, did you cash out of this one as well? Oh, no. Okay, well, give us the breakdown then.
Never. I mean, Dustin is obviously not the best. Everybody loves to hate him, but he's really not that bad. I mean, he's got grappling upside. He's physical. He, fights for your money. He has his issues, but like he's definitely improved since his first fight in the UFC against Dawkins, where he just looked absolutely terrible. And yeah, I just think, MAB's shown, bad takedown defense. He's been like people have, been able to grapple him if they've tried, if they've been decent grapplers. He hasn't really faced, the highest level of competition in his wins and his losses. When he takes a step up, he just gets absolutely truck sticked. So I feel like these guys aren't too far away from each other in levels. There's just like a certain perspective that Dustin sucks because, he lost to a much higher level of competition, but those same guys probably run over Barriel too. So I just feel like it ends up being like a more competitive fight than this line indicates. And Dustin does have the grappling upside, and MAB is not really a guy that ever separates in fights. I understand that the pace could get to Dustin, which is pretty much how MAB wins fights. So yeah, no shit. But at the line with how hittable MAB is, and Dustin having grappling upside and being able to fight for my money, I feel like he's a good dog to back this week. And I think the line should be a little bit closer. I still favor MAB, but not at minus 200.
Fair enough. This is the other one that I would have taped more if my card didn't break down. But I get it. You watch him get rinsed by Jotko and Park and Sanchez, and he does have that issue with the grappling. And Jordan Wright took him down. Probably shouldn't be going for guillotines against Dustin Stolfers. But he ended up getting up a lot against Anthony Hernandez. So I think he's got a good anti-grappling game plan, as in he will just keep working his way up. But I have to dig in some deep. I have to see how good Dustin's control actually is. I'm not against it. I'm not against people playing Dustin. It's a decent enough number. Beating Puna almost means nothing to me. That guy is just so inconsistent. And what's his other win? The Dwight Grant. Which came down to the wire. Yeah, it's hard. It's when you wiki cap him, it's so hard. But I get it. It's a value play. So, as someone said, this card is just a mess.
I'm a little bit biased because I played Dustin against Puna at like a giant number, and I played his sub prop against Puna because Puna is just a gas bag, and I played his late sub prop. So probably one of my favorite cashes of all time. But
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, from a betting perspective, MAB at -210 with, historical grappling issues going back. And I get Hernandez is like, the GOAT of pace grappling, but I mean, he 29-28 Josh Fremd, and let's be real, Fremd has been audited on the mat prior, so I'm not high on Fluffy's grappling unless he has a matchup where he can just pace somebody. So
yeah, no, it's overrated. It's overrated, and people are going to be glazing him now after beating Pereira with 4 minutes of cardio, 3 minutes. But yeah, let's move on. You obviously seem to have a better hold on Dustin Stolfitz, so you're comfortable laying these kind of prices in fights. Like some people just have such a good read where you can play like untrustworthy guys because you know them well enough and you trust them well enough. So it's either going to burn you or you look like a genius like the Punahele fight again. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, the thing with Dustin is like I don't mind if he just gets rinsed because I know he's gonna fight his ass off. Like he's not a quitter. So.
All right, cool. So this fight right here, Kaya Machado, Brenson Rivera. I mean, what do we say about this fight? I would honestly rather play Brenson Rivera personally, just because this guy dropped down to light heavyweight, which is where he always should have been. So now he's the second coming of Ian Gary's wife's ex-husband. But yeah, I mean, he's still a fucking bum, dude. He's an absolute bum. I just get this feeling like he might not even have better cardio. Maybe he will. And we've seen Walter Walker have better cardio by losing a lot of weight. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just one of those genetic things. I heard someone say that he actually has good cardio. I guess so. And I guess there's a realm of possibility where that looks like good cardio for heavyweight. But Brenson Rivera, man, I had to re-tilt myself watching that fight against Magomed. A lot better as an underdog after round 1. Hurts his calf kick. Then round 2 starts. Gets that really, really deep guillotine. Really deep guillotine. That was quite deep. I think if that wasn't a Dagestani from Bahrain, I think he taps to that. But props to him. And yeah, I knew I lost my bet. As soon as he dropped for that guillotine, I knew I lost my bet. Even when it was really, really deep down, I knew I lost this bet because that was the beginning of the end. And then round 3 just starts to go for takedowns. Like, what are you doing, dude? His calf is compromised. Why are you wrestling the guy that just out-wrestled you for 5 minutes straight? So he's a moron. So that just makes me not want to play him. But I think he's live too. He's what's the word for it? He's a wild card, Brenson Rivera. This whole fight is a wild card. So, do you have anything to add to this wild card of a fight?
Under.
Yep, that's where I'm leaning. I have this sneaky suspicion Rivera around 1 KO, right?
Yeah,
or maybe.
And Eddie's also fragile as shit too. If
True. He is.
So
even though we haven't seen it, when he upset old mate Lopez, and he upset my bankroll.
Well, he got truck sticked by the Zhang guy.
Zhang. Yeah, that guy hits hard though.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, Kyle's hittable as shit, and he will. Kyle will throw down. Like he's not afraid to scrap. So it wouldn't shock me if he landed something on Ribeiro.
True.
It could be. I mean, at plus whatever it is, plus 120, with how Ribeiro has historically fought and how dangerous he is, but also how fragile he is, it just seems like a good spot that this under could look free, like free 99 at the line. So I favor the under. Feels like a little bit of recency.
True. I will say I think Kaya is very durable. That's my only issue.
Yeah, he's got a decent chin, but I mean he's still dropped by Mays bad.
Yeah, did you see that punch though? That was a brutal punch on the button.
That was a bomb. I don't even think Mays was looking at it.
No, well, Mays doesn't know what the hell he's doing, bro.
He's drunk.
He just comes in there and just swings. All right. Skinny Machado does not look like an athlete. It looks like he should have stayed at heavyweight. I don't know about that. He does look in good shape. What do we got? This fight, Rivera wouldn't even sniff for unified MMA main event. Correct. If you lay chalk on Kaya Machado, I think you deserve to lose money. Well, show some respect to Matty Betts, all right? Why do I think Big Steve was black? Well,
close.
I can act black if you want me to. I I was about to say something. I probably shouldn't. That would be even too far for my standards. That would be worse than my anti-Semitism jokes. Might be quite the speed difference. That's the thing. I think Ribeiro is going to be so much faster, man.
Big time speed difference.
Wild card. All right. Derek Lewis, Jonathan Denise. So my boy Luke, he might have left because I didn't call him out. Typical. He actually told me to look at this under 1.5. It didn't take me long to say no, thank you. When I saw it was minus money, I'd rather play the over. I hate how patient Denise is. I hate people like him that land something and then reset back into the octagon. If you watch my under 1.5 video on the Big Brain MMA, Steve's 2 cents, I hate that shit. So he's not going to be fighting for my under. So yeah, and Derek Lewis, whatever, usually gets knocked out from freaking cardio exhaustion, or if Tai Tuivasa or someone knocks him out, it's like later on, it's body shots. Went 5 rounds with Mark Hunt. Just has like this weird durability, but also quittiness in him. And then Denise, I think, has an elite chin from all the years of kickboxing. Haven't really seen him cracked. It's one of those. I mean, it could happen. It could definitely happen. Like Derek Lewis just ran through a guy that I thought was extremely durable in Dilema, right? So you just never know if Derek Lewis is going to land a freaking meme head kick or a switch kick or a switch knee. But yeah, a lot of people talking about his takedowns and ground and pound. Yeah, I could see it all, but it's just so volatile. So many questions, and who the hell knows how Derek Lewis is going to fight. So he went out there. He fought a grappler in Rodrigo Nascimento, a black belt. I played 1 unit, and I thought about 2 units, which, whatever. And he's out there grappling, like aggressively grappling, and his coaches are like, all right, not bad, but maybe less grappling in this round. Does the same thing, gets reversed, gets mounted, and then finally knocks him out in round 3. So he's just like, he's probably just going to strike with the knees, like, let's be honest. But yeah, I don't know. The knees, I guess, the knees are pass. I would honestly like the over here the most. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dogfather.
You're right. The knees is, I mean, I can't play Derek Lewis against an elite kickboxer.
You could, you just don't want to.
No, it's not. I'm not a big Derek Lewis guy from a betting perspective. I'm a big Derek Lewis guy from a fan perspective, and
from an OnlyFans perspective.
No, I would not want to watch a Derek Lewis OnlyFans video. I can imagine what it looks like, but
it'll be epic.
Epic.
It'll be wild.
Epic. A lot of grunting. But I think Denise. I just think Denise is just levels on the feet, and he hasn't really fought like Lewis hasn't fought like that high level of kickboxer. I mean, I guess Volkov pretty much was in control of that fight entirely until he got memed. So, I mean, Lewis just has the ability to just meme. And if he does, everybody's going to go and lap around that Derek Lewis, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I'm not buying it. Maybe he could hit a body lock, but Denise seems pretty strong in the clinch. Digs underhooks well. I'd be surprised if he trips him. Thank you, Pepe. I'm still learning. Maybe you can get me an expert opinion. Everybody wants to hate on my boy Denise, but I was out here cashing plus 200s on him last fight against Carl Williams, and I like the guy. Yeah.
How disrespectful is this?
The dumbest take I've ever heard.
Dude, can you imagine if Rebellis went against Carl Williams? He would probably be the first person to get finished by Carl Williams. Yeah.
But anyways, Denise aside to me, I'm hoping the line keeps coming in because I just think he's better at MMA. He's got better cardio, much better striker. So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. We've seen Derek Lewis get rinsed by Wash Junior Dos Santos and Mark Hunt and Cyril Gahn. So
dude, two calf kicks. This fight's over with.
Yeah, I don't know exactly about that easily, but probably around those lines somewhere.
Yeah.
Or he just comes out in round 3 looking completely gassed and then lands an overhand right and wins. That would be peak Derek Lewis win condition. All right, Rose Namajunas versus Aaron Blanchfield. I said on the early tease it was Aaron all day long, and upon tape, just can't do it. There's a reason why I faded her against Manon Fior and why I lost a bunch of money fading her in other fights. As
Wait,
those
lap your Menon bet. Lap it.
no, because everyone bet it, so I just feel like I was on the circle jerk bet.
No, not everybody was betting Blanchfield because the line kept going. People kept playing Blanchfield because it kept going to -210
against Manon. Yeah, but it's people I don't know, so I can't even make fun of him. But everyone in the Discord bet Manon, right? Me, you, Piers, Chad, like even the squares like Chad played were on Manon in that one.
and Menon.
So it's like, wow, if we're all on it collectively, then I'm not really sharp. I'm just like everyone else. Yeah. But if I was on Aaron, that would feel like everyone being on Renat Fakhretdinov against Carlos Leal, and then bragging about it when the robbery comes in. So I would have laughed, but
you can't brag about that bet.
I know, because apparently it wasn't a robbery at all. Apparently the scorecards were fine. You just have to turn off the commentary. So yeah, I'm just casual.
Whoever said that needs help.
I'm just biased and I'm a casual because I had money on Leal, but they're right. I'll retape it one day when I'm not suicidal, and then I'll turn off the commentary and then I'll watch it. Anyway, yeah, she's quite hittable. Rose Namajunas, man, she's got that mythical power. You know, she almost knocked out Cortez. I think Cortez is very durable. I think Aaron's very durable. So I'll just lie bet this, man. I'll lie bet it. Her wrestling sucks balls still. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see how the fight plays out. You know, wait for that round one where Rose can, like drop people, land a head kick, land an overhand right. And just as it gets extended into the fight, I will say the best thing about Aaron, she's a dog. She keeps coming forward and she implements her game like later on. I'm still impressed by her win over Talia Santos. She couldn't hit one takedown and she just kind of eked out round 2 and then eked out round 3 with a bunch of cage push. I think Talia Santos is a lot more physical than Rose. You know, she's got her issues. Rose might be the better fighter, but Rose has her own weaknesses as well. So, yeah, that Amanda Ribas fight was a bit more competitive. Cortez, not really. Manon Fiora was kind of competitive. So, yeah, I just, no interest pre. It's one of those, like, shady fights, back and forth, volatile women's fights. They both have glaring holes that can be exploited by the other chick. So, I'm just going to wait for Aaron Libet. Hopefully she doesn't hit a takedown like first 30 seconds. But what do you think?
Talking about glaring holes that I'd love to exploit.
Chad? We're talking about Chad again? Probably can't bring him up here, bring his hole up on the live chat, but maybe talk in private.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't have much to say. I can see this fight going like a myriad of different ways. So I'm not really sure who's the side. I'm not sure what it looks like. Aaron Live is a good shout because she comes on late. So I do expect her to probably drop a round or two and hopefully get like a decent plus money bet on her. So I like that. I like that angle.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm not really interested because it's, yeah, one of those fights, man.
Yeah.
My bet is good for one of those. When you can't get a read and you just wait for the read in fight. Alrighty, Brandon Moreno, Ami Albazi. This could be one of those as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a level. Well, I don't want to say that. The sentiment that's echoing around is that this is a levels fight. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think Albazi is that bad. People are saying, "Oh, what's his best win?" Kai Kara France, but you know who else was he meant to beat? That's also the best guy they gave him. So, like, it's not like he failed the test already. Sure,
Robbery.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't see how that was a robbery to me personally. I thought it was, worst case, maybe one of the rounds should have been given to Kai instead of Albazi. But yeah, I mean, I watched it a few times. I remember trying to live bet that fight, and I had no idea who was winning. So it's like, how can it be a robbery when people don't know? Like, it seemed like everyone that had money on Kai was like, yep, it's 3-0 Kai. And then everyone that had Albazi was like, yeah, it's 3-0 Albazi. So it's, how can it possibly be a robbery, you know? It's subjective. It's one of the subjective ones. And, you know, beating Alejandro Costa kind of aged not badly, but, you know, Costa a little bit chinny. But what's he going to do, you know? He's a very well-rounded fighter. So Moreno hasn't really covered himself in glitter when fighting people like Kai Kara France and whatnot. You know, just whipped out a round 4 body kick KO, but look at his face, completely busted up, getting lit up by Kai Kara. Losing to Royval, whatever, looked a bit off. Losing to Pantoja, I still regret not playing that when I was in Europe. Big plus money on Pantoja. But I don't think that was a split, honestly. I thought that was a clear Pantoja. It might have even been like 3-2 or 4-1. But yeah, I don't think he's old, but he's very sharp one, man. Like, Moreno's been through a lot of wars, so I don't have a strong read on this other than I'm not really amped up about playing Brandon Moreno at this chalk. This could be another live betting fight, but what about you? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, dog or pass fight. Albazi's good. He's underrated. He's physical. He's a good grappler. He could definitely take Moreno's back and win minutes on the mat. I mean, he's really strong. Good wrestler. Really strong on he's just good on top. Good grappler. Nice. He's got good power. He's a little bit hittable. But yeah, he's got some good intangibles. It gets tired a little bit, late in fights, and that's kind of where Moreno could exploit him. But his KKF fight, was the first time he's fought a 5-rounder, and he went to decision. So I wouldn't be surprised if he, manages a gas tank better. He understands what he needs to do in the spot. So Albazi or pass, I think the line is definitely wide because Albazi could grapple here and has some grappling success, hitting takedowns, taking Moreno's back. We've seen it happen enough that, in the Pantoja fight that he got his back a ton of times. And I get Pantoja's like a beast. But he slows down too and was still getting dominant positions and, was able to control him for large portions of the fight. So I think Albazi's the side unless Moreno's pacing him late, which is obviously possible, but can't trust Moreno after his last performance. And I'm not a huge Moreno guy, but he's got good physical intangibles and pushes the pace. He's durable, solid boxing, but I think Albazi can win this. Kind of gut feeling.
Well, there you go. Confident in that? You're gonna play it?
I'm waiting. I think I'll get a really good price on Albazi, and I think worst case is I could probably live exit some off because I expect Albazi to look good early, especially.
Right.
I expect it to play out. I expect it to definitely play out, pick them, and if not, maybe Albazi has a takedown early and the line kind of changes.
What's your professional take on 12-6 elbows this week? Who will it affect? I assume that's why you locked in all your plays because they're all fighters that will take advantage of the 12-6 elbows.
Yes, the 12-6 elbow angle.
Yeah, Charles Jourdain's favorite striking.
I feel like Dustin Stoltzfus and John Jones share a lot of comparisons, so I felt like the 12-6 elbows were going to really play a factor there with the grappling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you make a good point. All right, best bets. You got any bet that you want to give out to the people, the folks that have to listen to us yapping for 1 hour?
Jack Shore, baby, we're taking it. Plus whatever it is, 266. I feel like it's a bet you have to make this week. I feel like the line can maybe even get a little bit wider too. So if you want to wait, feel free to wait. But you got to bet Jack Shore. Big recency bias spot, giving me oral by Rebecca vibes a little bit too.
Do you think your Jack Shore play will go better than your Jono Aaron's play when you faded it last time?
I played Jarno like really, really small, so I didn't really care what happened at plus 400. So
yeah, but you said you don't care about this one either.
Yeah, I won't.
Well, must be good to be rich. Yeah.
I play the numbers, baby. I don't. I play the numbers. So
unfortunately, I'm like Money Moicano. I can't afford to lose. So I'm just playing locks. I'm just playing.
That's why you didn't play Rebecca, the goat, and you live bet oral buy and got cucked.
Yeah, well, I live bet oral buy because he was cooking him. But hey, he won round 2, and he looked like he was cooking him. But
yeah,
I don't know. That wasn't my kind of dog play. I mean, like it just felt like slim margins for Rebecca. But yeah, props to you. I also didn't have fun.
It was kind of slim margins. Like I still think oral buy should have obviously been a decent sized favorite, but the line was definitely ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it was clear that even late into that fight that Rebecca had finishing upside because of oral buy's lack of defense. So I mean,
correct. Yeah. But then again, like how many round 3 KOs does Old Mate have?
Shit, he could have got it in round 1. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people. It was just like recency bias from that Brenner fight, but he definitely didn't look as bad as the Brenner fight. Six Hound. Big Steve, you got any ACA locks? I know it's your favorite promotion. Well, that's a joke. I'm trying to make it be my favorite promotion, but so yeah, I have Gibson and I have Zalal, which I'm just going to give out Gibson. But what else do you want me to do on this card? Yeah, just follow me on Twitter. I'll try to give out more locks. But I think from now on, I think I'm going to focus on regionals just from this moment on. I think I taped like 90% of this card. Trust my gut. There's 14 fights of Cage Warriors. I see people throwing around their weight, locking in, moving lines on Cage Warriors like usual. So if it's not too late, I'll jump in there and tape that. But yeah, that's about it. Gibson and Zalal. Zalal, I'm not confident about at all, so I wouldn't really give it out to people. All right, you got anything to add, my friend?
I have 2 bets on Cage Warriors, but
not worth giving out.
Both the lines are destroyed. Yeah.
All right, typical. All right, well that's it. Like and subscribe if you want. If not, yeah, Pepe. I think I said this in the Discord. He has a lot of round 3 finishes when he grapples people, and he actually preserves his energy. He's got a lot of crucifix finishes, but again, like he was not going to like grapple oral by like crucifix him and shit. He almost did actually in round 3. I think it got reversed. Iceland farts. 802 subscribers moving up, mate. It's slowed down so much, but who cares?
That's why you got me on to bring the subscriber count up.
No, well, I don't want any casuals to come along. I want an organic growth. I want incels, other boring dull incels that don't have a sense of humor, according to Mike Couch Warriors podcast listeners.
Oh, so, yeah, they don't like me either, I don't think.
Yeah. More people like myself, come join, right? Not allowed to have a sense of humor, not allowed to be funny, not allowed to have a personality, and you must lose. You must lose more often than you win. All right, peace out. Thanks for listening.